Tiffany here with Cards Crafty Creations. So today's project is making a fall coffee sign. I kind of wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was crafting with my friends this evening, and I kind of finished my other project and really didn't have anything planned up for the next one, so I kind of went through my stash and was like, what should I do? And I remembered that I had this wooden coffee cup from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to kind of do make me a pumpkin spice sign for the fall. But the signs, like the wood things from the Dollar Tree, are really kind of thin and flimsy, and so I kind of didn't have two of them to put together, and so I wanted to sturdy it up some, so I found these big rounds. They're wood rounds. I actually got them from before the paper pack goes away. This paper pack is really old. It is from Michael's. You can see it's one of their hot buys. I don't know what year it is from, but it has really cute paper in it, and it's very fall festive, very magical fall paper. And so I thought I would make a sign with that. But so the wood rounds, back to the wood round. I got a bunch of them, like a bundle, a pack of them, at a garage sale, yard sale, for like $1. And so I've just I have a bunch of, if you've watched my craft room tour, you've seen my wood collection, and those are just part of the wood that I've collected to make things with. I also doubled those up. I believe you can buy those at Hobby Lobby. I think they do come in a pack that you can get, but they too are kind of flimsy because they are only like one board thick as well, just like this coffee cup. So usually when it's like that, I will double them up. So it's actually 2 wood rounds, and it is a very sturdy sign once I've done that. So yeah, I wanted to do some like pumpkin spicy kind of paper situation, and so I kind of picked out my papers. And the easiest way for me to do this, I mean, there's probably other ways, but it was just to kind of impress the layers onto the paper, and then cut them out and then fine tune them to fit the area that they needed to go in. It is not a foolproof system. It is not fancy. It's probably rather lazy than having to measure everything out, but it works for me, and I would recommend in the future for future Tiffany to continue to do the same thing. Then because, you know, when you're cutting paper out to fit on something, it does not always fit right up to the edge. And so I really wanted to kind of give myself some proofing on this. So I decided to get my acrylic paints out and paint the wood board edges where it's possible that the paper may not quite match up to. And that's just gonna, you know, kind of hide those mistakes. And so I do the top for the cup, and then I do the bottom as brown because I had intended to distress stain the edges of the board. I don't know that I actually ended up doing that. I think I did it for parts of it, but not the whole thing, and I don't know why I lost track of what I was supposed to be doing with the distress ink. But so I thought that, and I will do this, I will often on all of my wood projects, I will paint the edges, just because I know that the paper does not always match up perfectly to the edge, and it just kind of camouflages and gives you a little bit of grace in getting that in the right place. So and then I will also okay, so I'm taking the sanding block, which I do on all of my wood that I put paper on because it gives it a good, clean, fresh edge to it. And now I don't remember if I did that with the coffee cup or not, because that would have been a really good idea for me to have done that. But we'll see. I can't remember. This was last week, and I've done a lot of things since last week. But I'm just going to glue the paper on, and as you saw with the wood round and also with this, I'm using my bone folder to smooth out the glue. So a lot of times I've heard mentioned that, you know, people don't like to use wood or liquid glue on things because it can leave like the glue swirls, however you put the glue on the page, it can leave like that raised up, or you could see it. And so my method to use my bone folder to smooth it out is so that I can squish those out, and then it smooths out and you don't get as much of a raise from the glue you put on. It also squeezes out the excess, so you can clean that up as well. I think it also gives it a good adhesion when you smooth the liquid glue. So that's pretty much what I'm doing with the bone folder, is I'm smoothing out all of that glue that I put down, because I prefer liquid glue whenever possible. Oh, I do. Okay, see, Tiffany's really good. She sanded the edges of this too. It also, what the sanding the edges does too, is it cuts off the excess paper that you can't quite get to with a scissor or an X-Acto knife, so it kind of just finishes that edge and takes the excess off. So that's pretty much another reason why I do that on all of my wood pieces. And then I thought I was going to like cut out that pumpkin and do like a shaker in that pumpkin, and then I realized that I did not want to do that. That was going to be a lot more work than I had motivation for. And so I got into my stash and got this burlap paper. It's burlap. It's not paper, it's actual burlap. It's very old. I probably got it from somebody. I don't think I got this. And so I thought that was a perfect coffee cup sleeve, was to use the burlap paper. Not paper. It's got a paper back. It's burlap. Has a paper backing. So I just adhered that to where the coffee cup sleeve would be, and I covered up that pumpkin, which is totally fine, because in the end, after I put the embellishments on it, you wouldn't have been able to see the pumpkin anyway, and it would have really limited my ability to use the pieces I wanted to for the decorations. Now I'm just cutting out a coffee cup lid, and then I do distress ink that as well. I think I distress inked everything, but then probably when I sanded it, it took it off. I can't remember. That was like 10 seconds ago. But anyway, I'm just gonna put that on, and here is where I determined that this is an issue, and I'm sure no one really noticed the issue, but I didn't plan the paper out well. I put I wanted that blue with gold foil background, and I wanted this pumpkin paper with the pies and the coffee, but I did not consider that I was putting blue on blue. So it really did not stand out at all. It just melted into the background, which was not what I was going for. So I decided I was going to glue the coffee cup onto that plaid paper that matches the lid, and we're just gonna give it a little matting. Right now it's drying, and then there's Seeger checking out what we're doing today. He always worries me when he comes in that close, and it's always when I'm fussy cutting with my sharp scissors. I don't know why he does that, but anyway, I'm gonna fussy cut out this fox, mama fox with the baby fox, and that's why I'm saying I'm glad I didn't spend the time to turn that coffee sleeve pumpkin into a shaker, because I'm putting this mama fox and baby fox on, and they take up a lot of the pumpkins, or a lot of the cup sleeve. So it would have been kind of a waste, or it would have hindered me from using this as my decoration. So in the end, the choice was a good one. And so I'm just gonna fussy cut this out, and then I'm gonna put it on the cup sleeve. Not yet though, because I gotta get this cut out. Now to mat this, I could totally, and I was like, I can eyeball this, and then I said, no, I cannot. I'll end up cutting it all in different dimensions, and it won't be good. So I just took my ruler. I think I marked out 1/4 inch around the whole cup, and then I just cut from mark to mark. That way it's more cohesive. It gives me a guide so that I am consistently 1/4 inch off all the way around. Otherwise, you know, you're inevitably going to cut one side slightly smaller than the other, because I think when we're cutting like this, we tend to cut towards the way I can't remember what it is. Anyway, regardless. So that's always a good tip for you if you want to do some freehand matting, is do a little measurement along the edge of everything, and then cut from mark to mark, and then erase your marks after you're done. See, now this stands out a whole lot better. It is its own piece. It is not part of the background. It is its own thing. So we're just gonna go and adhere that on. Glue that on, and then sand those little edges that are hanging over, and then it makes it like one solid piece. So that's what I'm saying. It's actually a really sturdy sign. Got practically 3 layers of wood there. And then sometimes, like, instead of using a bunch of foam squares, you know, because that can be really kind of costly and add up, and I like to use chipboard scraps, and I will just cut them, no measuring. Well, you have to measure somewhat. You don't want it hanging past your die cut, but I just cut them, glue them all together, and I feel like it gives it a much more stable dimension. You know, foam squares, like, you got to put a bunch of them on there to get it to not sag in different areas, or things like that. And I just feel like using the chipboard makes it really solid, and it doesn't tend to sag as much as with foam squares. I mean, I do use foam squares for sure, but if I'm trying to give dimension to a big piece, I'm going to use a bunch of chipboard scraps, because I got them. I mean, what are you going to do with little 1/2 inch and 1 inch chipboard scraps? And this is a perfect thing. So I cut out another little pumpkin set from a different page of the paper, and then these are in my stash. I have a fall leaf set, and I've taped them all together, so I'll just run them through like different colors of paper, and then I just create myself a ton of different fall leaves. And I've had these leaves for a while. They're in my stash, and they tend to still go with all the paper that I'm using for fall, so I think I actually used most of them up, so I'll probably have to make some more if I do any more fall things this year. But I'll just add those in, kind of fill in the gaps. I've said it many times in my videos that I don't like my characters floating in the air, so by me putting these leaves on, it grounds them, and like they're sitting on a pile of leaves, you know, not just floating on the cup. There's probably a time and a place where I would do the character floating on the cup, like if it was centered in the middle and there was an even amount on top and bottom, like almost kind of like a label almost, but that's not what this is. So I'm going to give it some ground with these leaves. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put some words on there. We want to celebrate the fall, and this is something that I got from Hobby Lobby. They are cupcake picks, and it just says happy, or What did it say? We'll see in a minute. But anyway, give thanks. Anyway, this is my sign. I hope you like it. I really like it. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And also consider becoming a member of my channel. I'm going to give a shout out to my member Tracy. And I hope to see you on the next video. Bye!